The sleep paralysis thing is coming soon. Okay, I promise. Hello, I'm Angel, and today I'm finally going to be doing a video on sleep paralysis, night terrors, nightmares, dreams, all of that shebang. Been a long time waiting. Sorry. I'm always sorry. I'm sorry. But I'm really excited for this one. I did a lot of research. And yeah, let's get into it. Now, we're going to start off with night terrors and nightmares. And they sound quite similar, but there is a big difference in between the two of them. Night terrors are more common in people who have mood disorders, a lot like bipolar, and people who have just a lot of stress in their life in general. Now, the main difference between night terrors and nightmares is that night terrors occur during non-REM sleep, and REM sleep is basically when you are in your most deepest moment of sleep, your deepest sleep. So REM is your deepest sleep, and non-REM is just, when you're asleep, but it's not like you're deep sleeping, right? Night terrors occur when you're not so deep into it, but they can wake you up and leave you stressed and anxious and even violent. The funny thing about night terrors is that they're actually quite unmemorable. You can't really remember them when you've had them, and you're most likely to just wake up and feel so confused and anxious and stressed, or someone who sleeps in the room with you or hears you sleep or watches you sleep, however creepy that may sound, will know. Nightmares occur during REM sleep, so your deepest sleep, and they are a lot more memorable and a lot less terrifying and a lot less impactful. Some symptoms of night terrors are screaming, thrashing, an increased heart rate, which really shows the amount of emotional toll it takes on a person. And it can really affect the people around you as well. I mean, about 6.5% of children have night terrors, and that is quite a large amount. It is most common in children because it kind of stems from an immature brain most of the time, but for adults it is stress and anxiety, even depression or sleep apnea. There are not a lot of treatments for night terrors, unfortunately, but there is a medication called Tenex, which I'm not a medical professional, clearly, but that is something that helps if it is prescribed to you. If it's prescribed. Another thing that could help is reducing alcohol intake, reducing caffeine intake, establishing a more consistent sleep routine, and overall managing your stress. Another thing that happens alongside night terrors can be sleepwalking. And I didn't have night terrors when I was a kid, from what I remember. Obviously, I probably wouldn't remember, but I don't think I ever did. But I did sleepwalk quite a lot. Yeah. Now we're going to move on to a little bit of sleep science. I did talk a little bit about why we dream in one of my last videos. I think it was my first one, actually, or maybe my second. But this is just a little bit more on that, since this whole video is about sleeping. One theory is that dreaming allows people to rehearse their responses to threats and anxieties, basically helping your preparedness for survival. And that kind of falls into the evolutionary theory, because basically imagine you had a dream and you saw a bear and it attacked you and killed you. Now you wake up the next day, you have another dream, you see that bear again, and you know that last time it hurt you, so this time you fight back or you run. Now when you see that bear in real life, your dream will have prepared you to use your survival instincts and understand what to do in that situation. Another theory is that when you dream, your brain kind of tries to unscramble all the memories that you have of the day, in life in general, and just tries to put it in story mode to kind of understand more of what is happening, since your unconscious brain is thinking about all these things while you're sleeping, and your conscious brain basically tries to piece it together. Now, there's a guy called Carl Jung, and his interpretation is that dreams have symbolic meanings, and your unconscious brain is trying to tell you something. That's where we get the kind of thing, where if you have a dream of your teeth falling out, it means you've got so much stress and anxieties happening in your life and stuff like that. Moving on to sleep paralysis. Personally, I find this one the most interesting, so I wrote a lot of notes on it. You can't really see them, but you'll hear them. But yeah, this one's just a bit of a really interesting topic. In fact, as I was researching last night, my last little bits of research, my brother was next to me and I asked him if he ever had sleep paralysis, and he said yeah. And I asked him to tell me about it, and he said that, just the usual kind of thing that a lot of people have, quite common, shadowy figures. But when I asked him, he was like, yeah, of course. And kind of like, I've never had sleep paralysis, and I never want to, obviously. That's a terrifying thing. But I really am so curious as to what it feels like. I kind of know in my head because I can imagine it, but I can't imagine the genuine fear that you will feel when you're in that state. Sleep paralysis usually occurs during the transitional phases of sleep. So it basically happens when the brain wakes up before your body, and that's why you're paralyzed, but everything is rushing through your head and those hallucinations come along. Sleep paralysis is actually more commonly likely to happen during the early hours of the morning, because this kind of plays into the transitional phase of when you're about to wake up, but not all of you does. So the vivid hallucinations are linked to your brain activity during REM sleep. During this phase, our brain is highly imaginative, so that leads to dreamlike experiences and whatnot. Now, a lot of people report, like choking sensations and suffocating sensations during sleep paralysis. This is because during REM sleep, your respiratory functions are kind of like disrupted. Now, a lot of people believe that sleep paralysis is linked to the supernatural. Like, a lot of people believe they're seeing ghosts and spirits and witches and all that crazy shit. Another thing people believe is aliens, which I love because I love aliens. Random fact, there you go. But since this can lead people to thinking they're seeing ghosts and all that, it can have an even worse toll on their emotional well-being and on their mental health, because, knowing something's in your head is a lot less scarier than thinking that it's actually there, happening in front of you, and you can't control it. Not that you can control your brain, but a lot of people can get out of sleep paralysis by, closing their eyes. They're not seeing anything, stuff like that. And this belief of it being supernatural actually sometimes shapes the things that you see during sleep paralysis, because if you believe that it is a demon, you're gonna see a demon. And if you believe that it's an alien, you're gonna see an alien, Like most scary things that happen during sleep paralysis is most commonly caused by stress and anxiety in your life, and depression and sleep disorders, disruptions during sleep patterns. Narcolepsy is a big one. But this kind of emphasizes the importance of mental well-being. Sleep is the time where you're meant to be resting your brain. You're meant to be completely unconscious and just relaxing before the next big day you have ahead of you. But when you have a lot of stress and anxiety and sadness in your life, that can come to haunt you during your sleep. And it's a horrible thing that happens, which is why you really should go see a therapist if you're feeling so much stress and anxiety in your life, And if you don't want to see a therapist, if you don't have enough money, maybe talk to a friend if you don't feel like you can trust your friends, a family member. If all of these options aren't working for you, because I know sometimes they don't work for me, and honestly that's completely fine, you can talk to yourself. And it's a very common thing to talk to yourself. I talk to myself all the time. And, sometimes when I'm having such stressful times in my life and I feel like utter complete shit, I just talk to myself. And a lot of the times at the beginning of this, you'll be like, oh, I'm such a fucking asshole, I'm this, I'm that, all negative things. But when you start to think about it, you are the one person who you are going to be with forever. Why hate yourself? And, you know, that isn't to say that your problem is about yourself, but when you have problems, it is a good idea to reach out to someone or just try to reach out to yourself, you know? It sounds stupid, but it works. For me, at least. Anyway, basically, mental health is a really important thing, and I truly believe that, and I can't stress this enough, so please listen. Now, over 50% of cases of sleep paralysis are linked to family history and genetics. Basically, half of the population who has sleep paralysis is caused by their parents or grandparents or ancestors having sleep paralysis as well. Now, this adds an important dimension to understanding sleep paralysis because it can get you to look back into your family history, and, you know, it's always a good thing to look into your family history because you always kind of do want to be aware of what has happened in your genetics in the past to understand what could happen to you and how you could maybe prepare for it or solve it. Now we're going to go on to dreaming. Just dreaming. Nice dreaming. Just dreaming. The average person experiences about 3 to 5 dreams per night, which is kind of crazy because a lot of the time you don't even think you've had a dream. I feel like I only have a dream once or like 3 times a month at most, but apparently I have way more than that. It's just hard to remember. There isn't really a reason why some dreams stick with you. They just do. They are the ones that really made you think, you know, in your head, in your consciousness, in your unconsciousness, in your dream, you know, and yeah. 83% of men experience wet dreams before their 20s. 85% of women experience wet dreams before their 20s. Wet dreams are a very, very common thing. And no one should feel ashamed about that kind of thing. You should not. The possibility of lucid dreaming occurs in 55% of people. So over half the population has a good chance of lucid dreaming or has lucid dreamed before. I don't think I have. I might have though. But I don't think I have, and I feel like I wouldn't want to. I don't want to be in control of my dream. I like waking up and thinking, why did my head just do that? And trying to understand, but also just laughing at it, you know? But that's just me. There are quite a few cases of people committing really violent and aggressive acts during sleepwalking, which is really unfortunate and really horrible. Especially because you did not mean to do that. I mean, imagine going to prison for life for example, killing someone during your sleep. You wouldn't even know that you did that, but now, of course, you have to suffer the repercussions of your actions, the consequences of your actions. It is quite a scary thing. I mean, the thing about the human brain is that, in all honesty, we do control it, you know, when we control our body and what we're thinking, but a lot of the time we don't control it. Sometimes we can't control what we're thinking. Sometimes we can't even control what part of our body moves, you know, we have spasms. Some people have conditions, you know, that's just kind of how it is. And the fact that it controls us and we can't necessarily control most of it is terrifying. Now, the last thing is that people over the age of 55 tend to dream in black and white a lot of the time. And researchers think this could just be because they grew up watching black and white TV. But that is quite interesting. I would really like to know what it would be like to dream in black and white. That is really cool, actually. Anyway, thank you for watching. This video was a lot more of a chilled one compared to my last one. I am so sorry for whatever that last fucking video was. I was so eager to get something out there that I just put on my I just put on my camera and I just started going ape shit. I was like, this fact, next fact. So yeah, but what did I say? I said that I would put out this video by the end of the week. It's the next day. What can I say? I'm quite proud of myself, actually. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, please. It's so appreciated. So appreciated. And in the comments, could you let me know what you would like me to do a video on next? Because listen, I love my fun facts more than the next girl. But I really do enjoy these kind of a bit more longer, a bit more structured videos, you know, unless you guys just want more fun facts. But if there's a topic that you're really interested in and, you know, you don't really want to watch a huge essay type of video and you want to watch me for some reason talk about it, then let me know, because I would be completely into doing whatever you want. Bye, love you, thank you for watching.